Recording in progress.
As I have already posted in the Mekon WhatsApp group, we have decided to go completely online from October onwards and will be having only in-person meetings. In case of any unforeseen situations in the future, we'll review this and take a call. I now request Vice President Education, Toastmaster Gaurav, to make his announcements.
So, very good evening to all Toastmasters. So, the whole take was for next meeting with us only. So, the three speakers, Toastmaster Shiva, Toastmaster Jyoti, and Toastmaster Zuleka. Remaining all roles are open. So, anybody interested can contact me.
Thank you, Gaurav. I request Toastmaster Sanjana to make her announcements. Is Sanjana here? Sanjana Prabhanjan?
Is not present in the meeting currently. I will. You make it. Sandeep will do the announcement on behalf of.
And authorized also. So I request all the members to renew the. So this term ends in September, and as the theme is stay connected, so I request all the members to stay connected and renew their membership from October to March 2023, and you know the payment amount and the bank details circulated by Sanjana, Vice President members. Back to the President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandeep. With that, I would like to hand over the charge to the Sergeant at Arms.
And she said, we did nothing, it just happened. Then I foraged for a contact of someone who happened to be my best friend in first standard. And I've never spoken to her ever since. So I asked her, how did we not stay connected for all these years? You were my best friend in first standard. Then she told me, we did nothing. So that made me realize there are certain relationships which have thrived in my life because they evolved naturally. And when you're at ease with someone, it is easy to stay connected. And there is one such person here who also puts me at ease. I'm comfortable talking to her and talking about her. She is a science graduate with a postgraduate diploma in systems engineering. She is actively involved with an NGO called the Inner Weave, which is the world's largest women's voluntary organization. And she's been with this organization for 15 years now. She's been the past SAA Secretary and Associate Vice President Public Relations of Mekon. She's fond of traveling, reading, and practicing yoga. So please welcome Madam President, Toastmaster Lalana Murthy with a huge round of applause.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sanjana, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Toastmaster Gaurav, are there any guests? Can you please ask them for their introductions, please?
We have few couple of guests in today's meeting. So, I request on right hand side, then come to the So one by one, at least senior and introduce to other members of the talking about this. Yeah, it will last. It's okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sushruth. I got introduced to the club by Ganpati GM, who is my uncle. I'm pursuing CFA right now, which is a Chartered Financial Analyst program, which deals with the stock market. And that's all about my.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Krish Kedia. So today is my second meeting as a guest in Toastmasters Club. And I've recently completed my graduation from JD University, Bangalore. And I've completed my graduation of Masters in Management with a specialization of Financial Services. So I got to know about Toastmasters through my brother. And he told me that it will really help me out. I have a public speaking fear. And it will boost my confidence too. And talking about my previous experience, it was a great experience. To start with, it was a bit boring for me. But as we continued, it became really interesting for me. And I was like, I thought it will work out for me. And I am looking forward to join this. Thank you.
This is Manoj Asher, Junior Officer. I came from Government Model Industrial Training Institute. I think this is the third or fourth time as a guest. Today I requested the Toastmasters to get membership. Thank you.
That's all from the offline audience. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav, for facilitating the guest introductions. I welcome all the guests to Mekon Communication Club and hope to see you as our members soon. I now request Secretary Toastmaster Shiv Prasad to read the minutes of the previous meeting.
Thank you, Madam President. Here are the minutes of meeting number 1179 held on the 12th of September 2020. The theme was Postcards, a Bygone Era. Word of the week, substantive. The business session started at 6:36 p.m. and was chaired by President Toastmaster Rangna. In the business session, the following points were addressed. The Vice President Education Toastmaster Gaurav mentioned that all other roles were open for the next meeting, apart from 2 speech slots and Master of Ceremonies. Interested members were requested to contact him for the same. The Vice President Public Relations Toastmaster Bhavani H requested the members to contribute articles to the quarterly newsletter theme Attitude is an Attitude. The articles need to be submitted by the 15th of September 2020. The Vice President Membership Toastmaster Sandhana Prabandhan requested the members to renew their membership for the upcoming 6 months, that is October to March, by the 28th of September 2020. She also encouraged the members to make use of the base camp by giving feedback to the speakers and role players. The regular meeting started at 6:43 p.m. Associate Surrender Towns Toastmaster Vaishnavi H started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and later handed over the charge to President Toastmaster London. The President opened the meeting, spoke on the theme, and introduced the Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Sanjana H. The Master of Ceremonies spoke on the theme and introduced the following role takers for the day. Timer Toastmaster Vaishnavi H, Accountant Toastmaster Ujjwal Suresh, Grammarian Toastmaster Lakshmi, and TP Evaluated Toastmaster Gaurav. The prepared speech session had the following speeches. First one by Toastmaster Sharanya Prasad, attempting level 1 project 2 and was evaluated by Toastmaster Jyotirao. Second one by Toastmaster Sai Snell Reddy, attempting level 5 elective project and was evaluated by TPM NU. The table topics session was conducted by Toastmaster Ankita and had 11 speakers in total. The general evaluation was conducted by Toastmaster Supreet. The winners of the week were Best Prepared Speaker Toastmaster Sai Snell Reddy, Best Evaluated TPM MU, Best Table Topic Speaker Toastmaster Gaurav, Best Role Taker Tab Chief Toastmaster Lakshmi, and Best Role Takers MPG Toastmaster Supreet and Toastmaster Sandhana H. President closed the meeting at 8:48 p.m. which is followed by the national anthem. Thank you and back to you, President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiv Prasad. Are there any amendments to the minutes? If not, I will consider it as accepted and open meeting number 1180. American psychologist Paul Bloom said, "Humans are social beings and we are happier and better when connected to others." Staying connected with others can increase your confidence and help you feel good about yourself. It has been found that having a network of good relationships also improves your well being. However, in the present times, people are busy with their fast and busy lives and do not have time for anyone or anything. As a result of instant and impatient lifestyle practices, they feel that emotions are a waste of time. We have WhatsApp, Facebook, and other social media to connect with people. On the other hand, our forefathers did not have all this, but connected better with each other through personal interactions. They were also there for each other during good times and bad times. Sometimes I feel the pandemic was a blessing in some ways, as it made people spend time with their families and connect with each other. To cite my own example, I had both my sons working from home, which would not have been possible otherwise. It was really nice for all of us to be together and connect with each other. Apart from connecting with families, it is also important to stay connected socially. Joining a social group or participating in any activity will help us to meet people and make new friends. It also provides an opportunity to pursue your hobbies or learn new skills. I am reminded of the story of this man who was part of a social group but stopped attending and participating suddenly. After a few weeks, on a cold night, the leader of the group came to visit him. He found the man sitting alone at home in front of a fireplace where a fire was burning brightly. The two men sat in silence and they watched the flames of the logs in the fireplace, which were crackling brightly. After a few minutes, the leader got up and picked up a log that was glowing brightly from the fire and kept it aside with the help of a tongs. Soon after, the glow went out from the log and the fire went out. What was once burning brightly had turned into a dead piece of wood. The man, the host, was watching all this silently. No words had been exchanged between them except for the initial greeting. Soon after, the leader got up to leave and he picked up the dead piece of wood and put it back into the fire. It lit up immediately, surrounded by the burning logs around it. The host then turned to the leader who was leaving and said, "Thank you for your visit and for the beautiful lesson. I will return to the group soon." Dear Toastmasters, we are all like the logs in the fire and a part of the flame. Let us be responsible for keeping each other's flame burning and stay connected to our family, friends, and society. To tell us more about the theme and to take the meeting forward, we have a fairly new Toastmaster who has already made her mark with an impressive icebreaker. She is an electronics engineer with an MS in computer science. She is also a certified project management professional and a Scrum Master. Her work experience in the US and India has helped her to embark on her entrepreneurial journey. Reading and Hindustani music are her interests, and she's also learning to play the veena. Please put your hands together and help me welcome the Master of Ceremonies for the day, Toastmaster Lakshmi Shekhar.
here is a picture. There, I've said 1,000 words. Why? Because the picture is apparently worth 1,000 words. So this is a Greek guy, a wise Greek guy, if I may say, who said, man is by nature a social animal. So you know who he is. Who is he?
Marcus Aurelius, Aristotle.
Aristotle, of course, the one and only, is from Aristotle. A wonderful evening to all of you Toastmasters. Welcome, dear guests. Aristotle also went on to say something to the effect of, whosoever is delighted in solitude is either a wild beast or a god. We are younger. We are human beings. We have inherent need for connection. Even for people who consider themselves introverts, scientific studies have established that relatedness or connectedness is one of the 3 basic physiological needs that we have as human beings. So that brings us to the theme for today, which is staying connected. As Madam President already said, staying connected and taking part in different activities increases your confidence. It makes you feel good about yourself. Also, having a connection or a network of good relationships, friendly connections, improves your well-being, and can keep your mind very active. So connections sustain us, they feed us, they help us grow, and they help us thrive. So connections can be with family, with co-workers, acquaintances, friends, and of course, with ourselves. So today, tools are plentiful if you want to stay connected, no matter where you are in this world. My good friend, her daughter works abroad. Her son is in college in a different city. The way they stay connected, a WhatsApp video call every morning. My grandmother is in her 90s. She's physically frail, but has a super sharp mind. So every time she comes across a joke that she likes, she writes it down in a book. And when anybody calls, she reads them a joke or two from her joke book. You would be surprised how well connected she is with the people. So many people call her just to listen to her speak, and she always has good words and a blessing to give. So I think there is a good lesson for us in how to stay connected. The gift of gab, of course, is the best tool that first comes to mind if you want to stay connected, right? Anybody with good oral communication skills has a good chance of making good connections. Excuse me, I have a bad throat today. Has a good chance of making good connections with people around us. So there was a gentleman by the name of Carl Smedley who also thought along these similar lines. He wanted to help people how to learn how to communicate better and help stay connected. So he founded Toastmasters, which is a non-profit organization, on October the 22nd in the year 1925 at the YMCA in Santa Ana, California. It is headquartered now in Colorado. The purpose of this club is to help its members improve their communication, public speaking, and leadership skills. The organization, which started as a single club with just a few members, now boasts of 300,000 plus members in about 149 countries, serving to its 15,800 plus clubs. For the benefit of guests, a typical Toastmasters meeting has 3 sessions. The first one is a prepared speech session, which, as the name suggests, is the speaker gets time to prepare for their speeches on a subject of their choice as per the guidelines in the manual. The next is the table topics session. In this session, the table topics master chooses the speakers at random and gives them a topic on which they have to deliver an impromptu speech. After this, there is a short networking break for about 10 minutes or so, and the final session is the evaluation session, in which the speeches and the proceedings of the meeting of the day is evaluated and feedback is provided. So to help me in conducting today's meeting smoothly, I have a team of Toastmasters. As I call your name, I request you to please come up here and explain your role today. First, we have the PT evaluator, Priya Muganga.
Good evening, everyone. As a parliamentary procedure evaluator, I am voting for few things here. Please refrain talking about sex, religion, or politics. For all our audience, please stay muted and please turn on your videos unless until you are asked to. For offline audience, please avoid crosstalks, avoid entering and exit during the speech. If needed, please exit this room while there is applause. I will be giving my report during the general evaluation. Back to you, Madam President.
Next, we have the R counter. Toastmaster Vijay Kusarila.
Very Toastmasters welcome guests. The purpose of the R counter is to note any overused words or filler sounds used as a crutch by anyone during the meeting. Words may be inappropriate interjections such as and, well, but, so, you know. Sounds like I will give my report during evaluation session and conduct. Thank you and back.
Thank you, Toastmaster Devavedra. Next, we have the grammarian, Toastmaster Jyoti Rao.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. As a role of a grammarian, I make notes of the well-used words, sentences, and because grammar keeps the words connected with each other and makes meaning and sense to what is being said. I'll also make a note of not so well-used words or sentences for the speakers and all of us to learn upon. I shall give my report at the end during the general evaluation. Over to the Master of the Ceremony.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyoti Rao. Last but not the least, we have the timer, Toastmaster Shiva Prasad.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. Very good evening, my fellow Toastmasters. As a timer, I'll be using my role as a pretext to ask all the speakers today to stay connected to the timings that have been allotted to your speeches instead of taking too much time and getting disconnected from the audience. So first we have the prepared speech session where the first speech is 5 to 7 minutes, and at 5 minutes I'll be showing the green card, at 6 minutes I'll be showing the yellow card, and at 7 minutes I'll be showing the red card. And the second speech is 12 to 14 minutes, and for that green at 12, yellow at 13, and red at 14 minutes. The second session is the table topic session wherein I'll be showing the green card at 1 minute and yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds and red card at 2 minutes. Finally, we have the general evaluation session where individual speakers are evaluated, and for that the green card at 2 minutes, yellow at 2.5 minutes, and red at 3 minutes. I'll be giving my report during the general evaluation voting office.
Thank you all for your support. Let's begin today's session with the prepared speeches. Before I introduce the first speaker, I request the evaluator, Toastmaster Sai Snehal, to read out the guidelines of the project.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The speakers are attending a level 3 project, Understanding Emotional Intelligence. The purpose statement of this project is for the member to cultivate an understanding of how his or her emotions impact relationships. It is also designed to help the member identify how others' emotions impact his or her emotional state. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her experience journaling emotions or being aware of emotions when interacting with others. Notes for the evaluator. During the completion of this project, the member spent a minimum of 2 weeks keeping a journal about his or her emotional responses to situations and people. Yes, and notes for the general evaluator. I have received the project and I have gone through it well in advance. Thank you and thanks so much.
So, dancing is where her soul finds peace. For that, you have my envy, for I have only 2 left feet. She gets her regular adrenaline rush from sports climbing, running, trekking, she just keeps going higher. She's transitioning quite well from a teenager to an adult, ready to explore new things. To deliver her speech titled EQ is greater than IQ. Please welcome Toastmaster Vaishnavi. Takes me for this. That is fear and excitement. One type of emotion. Toastmaster Sai is such a bad speaker. I can't even stand for standing here. Well, I know there is sadness behind that smile. But that was just a joke. The fact is, you're such an amazing speaker. I know that's a full smile right now. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. We all have faced different types of emotions. A bit of demonstration which you just saw. If not, all of us have witnessed these emotions or are to witness ourselves. We all have dealt with different types of emotions. Our MC here described me with such beautiful intro. I guess, ma'am, you would know what is meant by numbers. If yes, please help me explain it. Cut me off guard. What else is that? Okay, anyone else in the audience knows what is meant by numbers?
9 emotions.
Yeah, exactly. The 9 types of emotions. The first time I ever learned this, just like ma'am said, dancing. Bharatanatyam, the first classical dance I learned. I was not just aware of my emotions, but I knew how to express my emotions. Though I was used to be expressing my emotions from when I was a child. But this was the first time I could put it out on stage. That's when I learned the importance of emotions. What is emotional intelligence? All of us have heard about IQ, that is our intelligent quotient. I know all of us sitting here put in a lot of effort to make our IQ better. There are various ways. I personally read a lot of books, listen to podcasts, be aware about all the affairs around the world. But are we actually having an affair with our emotions? Just like the current affairs throughout the world? Well, no. Then what about emotional intelligence? Why is it so important in all our lives? Emotional intelligence is nothing but being aware of your emotions and also understanding your fellow human being. If you ask me, last month, I would say emotional intelligence, what is that? That would be the least priority in my life. But something changed. Well, if you ask me what changed in a month, such a small time, right? Anyone can take a guess what exactly happened? Yes, I did not have any breakups. Please don't include that in your list. Somebody who can take a random guess what exactly I did in this 1 month, that something which was such a bottom priority became one of the major prime priorities of my life. Anyone? Sorry? Okay.
This project.
Well, almost. I learned about journaling. Journaling is something which I have been doing for a while. I know most of us here, maybe at least few of us, have a habit of journaling. It's one of the major parts where we put down not only our thoughts, but our observation of others. Why is observing very important? I'm standing here, and maybe someone else over there is observing. My
voice is higher. I'm nervous right now. I want to kill myself right now. Anything like that. Because I'm so nervous. The fact is that journaling helps you put down everything you think about. Not only your thoughts, but your experiences around yourself. When I started journaling almost on a daily basis, it helped me figure out a lot of things, clear my mind off. Generally, people told me that if you start journaling, it generally helps you to set a direction towards your life. Well, this was told when I was 10 years old as well. And I did start journaling when I was in my 6th grade. Except I have the same diary, where there is only 2 pages filled up. So from then to now, I have kept trying ink breaks, maybe 2 pages per year. I think that's all I have ever written in that diary. But in the last month, I of course covered 28 pages, 1 page every day of what happened. Though there was nothing happened that particular day, nothing special. But the fact that I could get up every day and think my head is cleared out and ready for a new direction and new challenge the next day. That's what helped me clear up things and understand my emotions better. And journaling has helped me a long way. A very small habit takes 10 minutes of my day, but helps me decide the next 10 hours of what's going to happen. Keeping my calmness when it's at most stress level. And even times like now, where I'm supposed to be stressed and nervous, I'm still calm because there was something I told myself yesterday that it's okay, it's fine. It's just a speech. There will be people around who would have made mistakes. And not like I've not made ones before, but it's okay. Yes, so that's how journaling helped. This one habit helped me realize how important is our emotions. And the second very habit was meditation. Meditation has helped me a long way to come to. And that was which helped me figure out how to connect with other humans. To end with, IQ helps you make you smarter, but EQ helps you become wiser. I have started analyzing my emotional intelligence. But have you guys started? It's a question to ask. Thank you, and back to next.
Oh, wonderful for you, I might say you have discovered how to stay connected. So I congratulate you on that. Before I introduce the next speaker, I request the evaluator, Toastmasters please, to read out the guidelines.
The speaker is attempting a high performance leadership speech. The purpose statement. The purpose of this project is for the member to apply his or her leadership and planning knowledge to develop a project plan, organize a guidance committee, and implement the plan with the help of a team. The purpose of the speech is for the member to introduce his or her plan and vision and also share some aspect of his or her experience while completing the project. Notes for the evaluator. The member completing this project has committed a great deal of time in developing a plan, forming a team, meeting with the guidance committee, and completing his or her envisioned project. About the speech, the member will deliver an engaging speech about the project he or she completed. The speech may be humorous, informational, or presented in any style that the member chooses. The style should be appropriate for the content of the speech. The speech should not be a report on the content of the high performance leadership project, but a presentation about the members' plans, goals, and experience completing the project of his or her own choosing. For the general evaluator, I received the evaluation form well in advance, and the speaker briefed me about the whole project. So good luck, and back to the MC.
Wow, those are some impressive guidelines that you have to follow. There are many leadership roles here at Toastmasters, such as the president, the VP education, VP membership, VP PR, secretary. Our next speaker has held all of those positions quite ably.
She has such a rich repertoire of skills: painting, playing the guitar, practicing yoga, learning new languages. Not to mention, she's an avid reader and also the club coach for the BMS MBA Phoenix. She's a qualified chartered accountant and has the ACCA accreditation as well. She's currently pursuing a career at PwC to deliver her speech titled Lights, Camera, Action. Please welcome Toastmaster Ankita as the only way she should be.
For absolutely anything to be a success, planning is utmost essential. You all would agree with that, right? When planning lays the foundation for a successful term, a successful idea. Let's say you want to go grocery shopping. Isn't it the best practice to take with you on a piece of paper what exactly you want to buy? Have you ever been president of a club for 6 months and realized that it's time to say goodbye and bring over a new term, a new set of people who will shoulder the responsibilities of your club? Now that epiphany calls for the planning of a full-fledged special handover ceremony. A very good evening, fellow developers, strategists, and planners sitting here in this room. About a few months back, when I realized that my term as a president had come to an end, with that bittersweet feeling came the realization that now I have to plan for a very special installation ceremony. The installation ceremony is a very emotional and yet a very essential day in the life or the journey of the president of any Toastmasters club. And being the president of Mekon Communication Club and as the host of that particular meeting, I wanted it to be a flawless and a seamless meeting. And so I had to plan meticulously for it. Now, most working professionals here in this room would agree with me that most of the meetings you have at work could have just been emails, right? Either those meetings are too short to be called meetings, or there's nothing important happening in those meetings to be a meeting in the first place. But let me tell you with utmost confidence, the EC meeting that I had before the preparations for the installation ceremony began was of utmost importance and very crucial. In this meeting, we chalked out a to-do list and I began to assign roles to every EC member from that to-do list. From fixing the date of the installation ceremony to what roles each and every person would have to take, the EC meeting formed the backbone of the installation ceremony. The most enjoyable part of the EC meeting was our discussion about the dinner which would happen after the installation ceremony. Dinner after the installation ceremony has been a tradition at Mekon Communication Club, and that was being rekindled after 2 long years thanks to the pandemic. I remember brainstorming with the entire EC and we chalked out a full 3-course meal for all the members and dignitaries present after the installation ceremony. Now let's come to the execution phase, wherein we began to prepare for the D-Day. The first thing I did was to chalk out an agenda, wherein I sat with myself, used calculated estimates, and chalked down an entire list of what would be the sequence of events, how much time each event would take, and who would be responsible for it. And this agenda was then shared with every member of the executive committee as well as the role takers of that meeting. The agenda was the most important document for me because that kind of told every role taker what the meeting would look like and how they had to plan for the meeting and for their presentation and performance on that day. Now, once the agenda, I had to personally invite a few people. First, accompanied by Toastmasters Sandeep, I went ahead and invited the dignitaries from Mekon Limited who would be coming as chief guests for our installation ceremony, and I even requested them to come up and speak for a couple of minutes behind the lectern. Secondly, I informally invited the current era director, who was the installation officer on that day, who basically handed over the charge to the incoming term. And lastly, the most important thing I did was to invite a few enigmatic members from our fraternity, the district trio, our club mentor, D.K. Ramlal, etc. And for the rest of our members, I sent out a formal email inviting them for the installation ceremony. It was very important for me to keep a count of the number of members attending because the logistics of the meeting would depend on that. And that is also something I took into consideration while I was preparing the agenda and giving out the invitation. Now comes the most important part, that is where I began to see the number of people attending increasing. And as the number of people kept increasing, so did my nervousness and my excitement. I wanted to make this meeting perfect. I wanted it to be flawless, and I wanted every EC member to remember their journey of self-growth under my leadership for 6 months. And I believe that for any successful meeting, it's not just important to have an effective leader, but also have a reliable, responsible, and a relentless team. To start off with Toastmaster Bhavani, I had entrusted her with the duty of bringing bouquets for the dignitaries, books, awards, and certificates. And let me tell you, she aced her role. I remember brainstorming with her about which book to order, how many copies of certificates to get printed, how many newsletters do we have to get printed so that we would stick to the budget and also not waste any resources. She also took help from Sanjana and got the bouquets in place for us. Next, if you all remember enjoying a delicious meal on that day, all thanks to distinguished Toastmaster M.U. Bhatt sir. He was absolutely as excited as we were for the dinner, and he also went a step ahead in trying to add some extra savories to make our experience all the more special for us. Also, I would like to thank Toastmaster Shiva, who ensured that we had the enough amount of snacks to enjoy and to keep us rejuvenated throughout the meeting. Last but not the least, I would like to thank my pillar of support, Toastmaster Sai Snehal. Though I did not give him any particular role like I had given to the other EC members, Sai Snehal was always just a call away. They say in life, it is the trivial things that matter the most. It is the small details that differentiate a regular painting from a masterpiece. And that is exactly what Sai Snehal did. He helped me look at the smaller, finer details, which if rectified, could have taken to the next level, and that's exactly what happened. Let me give you all an instance. On the day of the installation ceremony, I realized that I don't have a proper sequence of awardees ready with me. And I immediately called Sai and told him, Sai, I don't know what order to give out the awards. And after laughing for 5 minutes straight on call, Sai told me, don't worry, we're going to have the Word document with the entire sequence of awardees ready. And if not for that Word document, I think the award ceremony would have been an absolute disaster. So I think I had the most amazing team to help me out with everything. And without them, this wouldn't have been possible. And also, I had a very effective team of people who were guiding me as to what to do. Starting off with distinguished Toastmaster A.K. Prabhakar sir, I remember getting on calls with him ever so often, asking him what I should do, what I should not do, how to make things go right, how to stick to the tradition of Mekon. And without him, I think I wouldn't have been able to pull off that very flawless show that we all did on that day. Now comes the day of the installation ceremony, the most awaited day that I was looking forward to, and so were the fellow ExCom members. I remember entering the boardroom on the first floor, and that just gave me a lot of nostalgia because I had remembered seeing a lot of the prior presidents standing behind the lectern and giving their outgoing addresses, a new term being installed, and it was very surreal for me to imagine that I was going to be behind that lectern giving my outgoing address that day. There was one thing that I had to do on a personal level while I was overseeing the entire team under me, to basically write my outgoing address. Now, I always realized that leadership is not about always working towards meeting a common goal. It is also about never losing the sight of your own personal goals. It is a fine balance that you have to maintain. And that's exactly what this taught me. I had to write an outgoing address, covering everything, not missing out anything, amidst all the preparations for the installation ceremony that we were doing. And that taught me how to really maintain a balance and balance out my job as well as my own personal goals. Standing behind the lectern that day and delivering my outgoing address was an enthralling experience, and it restated the fact in me that endings are inevitable and can be beautiful too. One more thing that the installation ceremony taught me was, with meticulous planning, things do go as planned. You can achieve what you have planned to achieve with meticulous planning. The newsletter release was an absolute smooth and flawless performance. We had the right number of copies. We had done the release absolutely perfectly. The award ceremony was smooth as silk thanks to the awards list that Sai Srihal had prepared for me. The entire meeting, the installation ceremony, the entire favorite topic session, the emceeing, the introductions to each and every role taker, everything was in its place thanks to the meticulous planning that we had done. The one unsung hero of this installation ceremony was distinguished Toastmaster Amitabh, who went around taking pictures of all of us in the room that day and keeping those moments with us which we can never revisit again in person. Well, looking at those pictures always takes me back, transports me instantly to the installation ceremony meeting, and I would like the same for you all to witness today. So I have a short Thank you. Thank you. I'm not done. And so, when you're trying something brand new and when you hear your cue to lights, camera, and action, remember these three things. Number one, with meticulous planning, things do work out perfectly well. And it also gives you good content for your next Toastmaster speech. Secondly, build a team of people you can rely on and trust. Believe that they will be able to shoulder the responsibilities that you have given them. And last but not the least, always maintain a balance between your personal goals and the goals of your team. Because leadership is not just about leading a team of people, it is also about reaching where you want to reach while keeping sight the common goal. With that, back to the MC for the day.
Those are wonderful ways that you told us. Executive project actual and also wonderful tips to stay connected. So let's say you are a new employee in a company, right? And you have to attend an office gathering. It is natural to feel a little hesitant, a little disconnected. So next time you find yourself in such a situation, try and imagine that group of people as a group of friends. I know it is not true, but just by imagining, you bring down the anxiety a little bit. Now, walk into the room, just find a friendly face, shake their hand, introduce yourself. Listen carefully and pay attention to what they are saying. You just made a new connection. Now, try to walk around the room and do that a couple of times. So you have now not so, unfamiliar faces. You have 3 or 4 connections that you make. So the next time you run into them at work, maybe, or at a meeting somewhere, you now have an excuse or a pretext to make a new connection, connect with them over coffee, try to connect with them over lunch. Now you have many connections and you have ways of staying connected. So now let's try a fun way to get connected with each other. And we have just the right person to show us how to do it. As a teacher and a principal of two esteemed educational institutions, she always stays connected with her students. She not only educates them, but also ensures that she instills them with high self-esteem. She is a certified handwriting analyst and grapho-analytical therapist. Of course, being a teacher, she believes that there is no end to learning. And so she says age is just a number. She enjoys reading books, listening to music, and traveling. With a huge round of applause, let's welcome the Table Topics Master of the Day, Toastmasters today.
Thank you, Master Sunny, for such wonderful introduction. Experience is a hard teacher, which gives the test first and the lesson later. Happy evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Enough is enough. Under the pretext of fear, anxiety, nervousness, we have stayed away from the lesson. Now it's time for all of us to fall in love with the lesson and get connected to it. Here I am with table topics which help us practice the art of visualization and also puts us to think on our feet. So further, this helps us to develop 4 vital important elements for the communication, that is the listening skill, thinking, organizing, and delivering. So here I have few topics for all of us. This is not only important for the members, this also I invite the guests also to take part in it. So to begin with, I invite A.K. Prabhakara sir for the topic, what is the most valuable lesson you have ever learned in life? Over to A.K.
Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome to this. One thing I have learned, it's a very long drawn one, is that setback is not a failure. I was always concerned, I was a very skinny kid. Most of the time, there was not much of building when I grew up here. Childhood spent around 1 kilometer around this place, and it used to be very cold. Any time of the day, any time of the day. And I had a running nose. 2 kerchiefs, 2 sweaters. They used to call me Kavacha. Like Karna, I used to have permanent Kavacha like sweater. That's one. And believe it or not, I was partially settled. My mother reminded me later. And I think it's somewhat I'm thinking that it's true also. The question was how all these things at the same time. I was a slow reader. Even today, I try to work on that. But reading is part of my living. Because of that, perhaps, that I read, underline, make notes, and side notes. I normally, once I read a book, I go through it all over again. Which it has become part of my living. So, every step, whenever I had an impediment, an obstacle, I thought I should handle it as if it's a bull by harness from the Vietnam. If that is my weakness, I need to work on. Even to today, there was a minor challenge at home, very small one, that how to upload the get the EVC for income tax, so that it's automatically goes in and I get that full return. And it was not happening. And one other method was that I could not really sleep. I got up in the morning, first thing, got hold of my wife, except this. The problem was with her income tax filing. And we did make number of efforts. By after an hour, we could penetrate and do it. But the point is that if there is a barrier and that this has to be overcome, I do it, and I consider that setback is not failure. In fact, for that very purpose, I maintain diary. Maybe I have done it for 30 to 40 years, writing down what exactly needs to be done next day or the next first thing in the morning. I write that this is the problem I have to cut across and really ensure it is done. And to that extent, whatever needs to be done in terms of focus, I do it, and I do it. I enjoy the challenge,
and I don't consider as an impediment or a problem, and I consider still setback is not a failure. Over to table topic master.
I really appreciate that persistence in maintaining that journey day after day. Thank you so much. Next, I would like to call Toastmaster Anita for the topic, what is the difference between concern and worry?
Concern and worry. On the face of it, concern and worry, like many English words, sound very similar. There is a nuanced difference between these two. Concern is perhaps a more constructive emotion, talking of emotions, whereas worry is perhaps a bit of a negative emotion. Let me share an example. I was given an opportunity to come and lead a particular event at my office. I was not prepared for it. That made me very worried. And due to that worry, rather than really planning and working towards that event, I was getting more worked up and worked up. And looking at this, my boss felt a little concerned. So he called me over to his desk. He told Amita, there's nothing to worry about. I went exactly through the same thing. And that was very positive emotion. He showed a nice concern towards me because he knew that I was capable of it. It's just that something took me by surprise, and he put me that confidence and that concern that he had for me actually put the confidence back in me, and I was ready for that task and I performed it flawlessly. So here's the difference between a worry and a concern. So if you have, and there's another small difference between a worry and a concern. Worry is sometimes, or most of the time rather, something that we do to ourselves. Whereas concern is something that we do to somebody who we care about, just like you saw my boss being concerned about me. So next time you're thrown with a curveball, have concern for somebody rather than being worried and getting worked up over to David.
That was well said, totally in an action. Worry is destructive and concern is very constructive. Thank you so much. Next, I would like to invite Toastmaster Sandeep for the topic, do you believe in miracle? Quote one instance from your life. Do you believe in miracle?
Good evening, everyone. The topic master. Miracles, I think, sometimes I feel if you are really working hard, and like Dekendra Bhagat sir already told, that you are not limited by the obstruction or impediment, and you are really working hard to get through it. I think something happens, you feel like if it is a miracle and it is God gifted. But in the hindsight, you have really worked hard for it, and you have achieved that success. For me, miracle, I would say I had, I was really bad in English in my 10th standard. We were studying in Indian medium, but I had scored perfect 90 out of 100, which I would have been in some top 5%, which I felt was a miracle for me. Even I was criticized for that also. How come you are not so good in English and have scored 90 in English? But I was very methodical, like how I approach mathematics problem. I approach the same approach, same in English also. If there is a question and it says you write in 150 words, I would exactly write in 150 words. So whatever happens, happens. Simple, clear handwriting, 150 words. So that is how I used to do. Even though my grammar or something like was not very eloquent, like I used to use dyads or triads or something like that. But yes, it used to convey the message what the answer was asking for. So I think that was miracle, but in hindsight, I would say it was my hard work and practice of writing the same, because you cannot write 150 or 120 words to one answer when you are given an open question. So you have to practice a lot. So that is how my take on miracle. I am sure that you have really worked hard and something happens, it is miracle.
So your hard work has come in disguise in the form of miracle. Good, thank you so much. Next, I would like to call Jyoti, Toastmaster Jyoti, for the topic. What is the magic formula to banish worry? What is your magic formula to banish worry?
Thank you, table topic master, and good evening, friends. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. What is the formula to banish worry?
Magic
I have to use that formula to banish my worry of how to speak here at this moment. To banish worry, I think the best thing is not to worry. So, worry is actually when we think we are incapable of managing the situation or whatever the circumstances is. To banish worry, I would say that life gives us situations, people around to grow in our experience. Instead of worrying, take that as an opportunity. I have done a lot of times. Instead of worrying, get into action and do it. It doesn't matter whether we succeed, we do not succeed, or it works out, it's a failure, it does not matter. On the pretext of failing, not to do something will worry us more, because worry is something like when, as I said, when we see we are incapable of doing something, it starts bothering us. And we think we are not good enough to take it up and then start worrying for no reason. And worrying is worry is something that keeps on coming back. It's a vicious circle. You don't do it, it worries you. And it worries you, you do not do it. So we are going round and round in the same circle. To not to worry, to banish your worry, the first thing is not to worry and go into action. Thank you, and over to you.
You mean to say worry will bury us alive? Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Shri Prasad for the topic. How important is interpersonal communication in this age of technology?
Table master, very good evening once again to my fellow masters of the cases. How important is interpersonal communication in the age of technology? I feel it is all the more important now than it ever was. As I think in the previous meeting, the table topic session, one of the topics given was that loneliness has increased now, even though we are more connected because of the internet. And you see people getting more and more lonely. If you go online on social media, you see they keep typing messages that I don't have anybody to let out, vent out my frustration upon. I don't have anybody to talk to. I don't have a romantic partner. I don't have a good relationship with my parents. And because the internet has changed the way we communicate so much these days, that all we do, like today it was my aunt's birthday, right? So all I did was I messaged her on WhatsApp, happy birthday. Probably if I had called my aunt, she would have been even more happier. And our relationship would have gone in an even more better manner. So interpersonal communication in this era of the internet, I feel it is all the more important than it was back in the days. Because back in the days, people would, on the slightest hint, they would just visit somebody, visit my brother, visit my aunt, go to their house, talk to them, have food, have dinner, meet with their children, play with them, go back. Today it is just, let's just gone into a single message or a video call. So that's what I would like to say. Back to you, David.
I did not have much private friends. My very best friend was my friend. She very thankful to someone. Or the next day it's like, oh, our exam got got. Oh, they're going. You know, maths actually has a good punch because when we don't mind this context, it's like send a Snapchat. Oh, this is done. So to be very frank, I don't want to do it. Sometimes I do not connect. We also lose a part of so working right after marriage, the current is not that things are all
And for the now topic, master, not an opportunity. There are many things in my bucket because I just started working 2 weeks back and traffic I deal daily is very hectic. I drive for more than 2.5 hours to reach my office and drive back 3 hours to reach my home. So one thing I really, if I have to follow the rules, I somehow, I don't know how this will work on, but this stuck into my mind was traveling these days. So traffic, it's the most important thing for me. Trust me, driving a bike for 2 hours, the distance is not more. It's just 12 kilometers. The distance is just 12 kilometers. Whereas the middle and long term, some big destinations like Mysore or Ooty, that would have us. So a city traffic is really what we need to control. So if I get an opportunity to know your reach good, I would definitely start working on traffic. Because I've seen many places where there is a signal and just after the signal there is a bus stop where the bus stops there just to board the passengers. Behind because all the vehicles are stuck. Neither of the way we can move. So there is space or movement for the traffic to happen. And if you take a turn and right there is a bus stop. So these are the little things what I've observed in these days and wish to be over. That part will be
a lesson you have learned after
Madam Topic Master, Master, yes. Life is a series of experiences. What and all our all through life, we make mistakes, we learn from them, and we go ahead. So the question asked by Topic Master is, what is the lesson you have mistake? I think understood quite wrong. In fact, a challenge for me to remember what I understood. Probably one of the greatest mistakes which I have done in my life is about discounting yourself. What I feel that you should never ever discount. And I have paid a very, very heavy price. You think that you are modest, so you go to office and someone protect you. I think that and the beauty of the world, how the world operates is, if you say so, world believes. But if you say, I am capable, I can do these things, I can do this, I got all the technology. Nice avenues. You know, that's the unfortunate flip side of life. It happens, I have experienced it many times. So, one lesson, I won't say I have learned from that because I am not becoming better because of that. I should learn a lesson in, I should start implementing something wrong because I should overcome that particular thought. But that probably does not happen in the life, it's too late for me. Because modesty is not the best. That's why Golda Meir instead someone who was trying to be modest. Don't be so modest. You have not become that great yet. Because modesty is a luxury. Don't be great. So ultimately, my lesson is I learned is never be modest. Blow your trumpet as that only can take you further.
How does Al affect and ready? He is for a happy.
You Toastmasters welcome yes. Key to happiness. One should constantly say, what is I am capable? What is not I am capable? Cannot make it easy to be happy. Taking something which is not possible for me to achieve beyond my capability, I am putting myself in a trouble. There is no meaning in that. For that, one should introspect one's own self. What I mean by introspection? Studying one's own self. Not only the emotion part, but also the capability part of it. Emotionally, I feel that I am the CEO of the company. Am I really capable of executing that? Is a question. That is possible only by proper introspection. Do I have the requisite educational qualification or the capabilities required? Only I will take a decision. This I am saying with confidence because I took a decision in 1991, jumped into partnership business without even knowing how to handle people. I wanted to be a partner, I wanted to be a great businessman, but not having the I miserably failed. There's nothing wrong in it, but I learned a lesson. I applied later in my life so that I achieved many things in my life. So that today I can confidently say that failure is not the end, but we need to introspect and take a necessary decision to come up in life. Thank you, and back to you.
And the topic I would really never go to the go for the skydiving because I have a height trauma with the height, and I'm really scared to see down when I'm on the compound itself, like 5 to 6 feet high. So I really never go to the
Thank you all so much for coming here. We had an excellent meeting.
Initially, it was just a meet and greet. Over the years, it's grown into a fully informed staff. So we are a group of about maybe 120 plus people, spread over 3 to 4 countries. So every year we have at least one family out where we go off to a resort or a homestay and take over the entire place. Also, we celebrate many festivals here and get together every time. So I just wanted to bring this example of so one small WhatsApp to meet so many new friends and help stay connected. I can happily say that this group is probably connected to life. The next becomes strong. And we are all richer because of it. Also, I think my group is the way because they always are honest with you. They're always honest. They give honest, genuine feedback. Talking about feedback, I guess it is time now. Feedback of our proceedings today. And then the evaluator is also under an education. He's a very involved Toastmaster who has taken on many leadership roles. India and tried all the adventures. He's a BCom graduate from JD University and currently pursuing a career at last, definitely not the least, he's a dog lover. For that, you have my help. Please put your hands together and welcome the general evaluator today, Toastmaster Gaurav.
Little bit nervous for my there's so many very good evening to all Toastmasters. Thank you, Marcus. So the meeting started around 6:35. So started off with the business session. So first was let's say announced saying that October CRI was that okay. I don't know. I'm very excited for the for October because it's a very long time that long time after 2.5 years. So I'm really excited and I'm very interested for so I mean you have to really speak for that. So after that I did my presentation our role take was for the next week and then we can review Sunday. So it was a crisp and short business session. And now coming to the sergeant's address. Sanjana, one thing I've observed, like I observe a lot. So whenever I come, in downstairs, right down over in the top time we enter the building. So every meeting I see, you'll be the first person to come on time. I mean, not on time, way before time. I know I think it's okay. You can take your time. Should be here around 5:50. Like, what do you do? It's actually a good thing. I'm appreciating you. It's not something. You do follow that. And she's a very dedicated member being in the ECR also. Like anything I need related to meetings, I can always contact her. And once I contacted during 10 o'clock or 10:30, she was available and she helped me with the sergeants. So what I observe is always keep the sergeant's address very short. You can little bit extend it is what I felt. But whatever you say, it's very unique. Like for example, this theme. If you say staying connected, people might talk about COVID or they're still connected, blah, blah. But you came up with something unique. You had a different perspective. That's what I like. You have a very creative mind. So always keep the sergeant's address a little bit shorter, but try to explain it a bit because you're the one who is going to open the team and everyone is looking forward for an energetic open for the meeting. And again, you introduce this president very unique in every meeting by meeting. And today, what I observed is the introduction you gave to the president, you correctly did well towards the team. Like a very good job done. And after that, you handed over to the president and the guests were introduced. Okay, I saw two guests entering late, but they exited early as well. So we just move forward. So we gave all the opportunity for all the guests of present here to introduce ourselves to the club. So I'm hoping all the guests will join our club at the earliest. We're looking forward to see you as a Toastmaster. After that, minutes of the meeting was read by Toastmaster Shiva, and one thing I observed in this minutes of the meeting is every day ends at 7 o'clock. Now the meeting gets over. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, you observe the minutes of the meeting will be out. Like, do you actually wake up and do it, or is it set that way? Okay, I need to learn how to do that. So yeah, very good thing about Toastmaster Shiva is he notes down each and everything. Like if you observe in older terms, even when I was the secretary, there have been times that I've sent revised MOM as well, but he has never sent a revised MOM till now. That means you're very attentive in the meeting and you note down each and everything. I'm not jinxing it, don't send the revised in the future, but a very good job done. I know people might think what this have to note down few things and send it in a table format, but I know being attentive and noting it down is another easy task. So a good round of applause. Now coming to the president Toastmaster so one thing I really loved about Toastmaster Nalana is she always have a bright smile on her face. Even if she is nervous, even if she is very well prepared. Like we can never figure it out if she's actually prepared or if she's actually nervous. So I said it in another I did a very bad job on that. Okay, so one thing I really love about Lavana ma'am is unfortunately she can't come to the offline mode till this September end, but still she gave me a promise that you don't worry, I don't want to keep a burden on you, I'll take care, I'll just join online. So that is what the dedication shows, that she's taking this presidency very seriously. And yeah, she's a brilliant speaker. I mean, we have been listening to her for a very long time, from so many years. So one thing I would like to say to Toastmaster Lalana Amurthy is somewhere I felt when we started your president's address, we were talking about it, suddenly jumped to the story, and I felt a little bit was distracted. So maybe you can keep your speech, keep your president's address in with the flow, then people would have listened it more better, would have connected to you more better, is what I would like to say. But she's a very brilliant speaker. We already know that. The only thing I'm missing is her presence in offline mode. I'm sure she'll be present from October. So good job done, and give her a round of applause. After that, coming to the masters committees, I like to come here at the end because they're a very special person for today's meeting. Okay, so let me jump off with the individual evaluators. The first speaker was Toastmaster Vice President Giving Director Project 1. And I request Toastmasters Ice Mode for this.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and Toastmaster Vaishnavi in particular. One of the greatest gifts a human can have is the voice to speak. And that voice, when you can use it to display your emotions, is a perfect example of what Vaishnavi has done today. I will divide your evaluation into 3 categories. First, where you excelled at. Second, where you may want to work upon. And third, what you can do to challenge yourself. When I said display of emotions, you started off by throwing something at Uttama. You caught him off guard with the fear of emotion, with the emotion of fear. Next, you had me there, wondering if I'm really a good speaker or not. I had myself in shock and fear. And finally, to Toastmaster Lakshmi, asking her a question. A speech which involves emotions generally starts by stating something either sad or happy. But you display these emotions and later go on to explain it. That is what made your speech really great. I've been seeing you speak here as Sergeant and as a speaker for a long time. what I really noticed or observed throughout these times is you were in a constant voice modulation, whether you're happy, sad, angry. It was the same duration, same voice throughout the entire speech. But today, your speech was definitely an effect of you journaling and trying to put your emotions out in the form of your voice. And you have made the last nail to the coffin. I'm pretty sure you have journaled all these because without the effect of putting the required time behind this project, it would be not really possible to do this. And I'm sure you have done that. Now that brings me to the second category, that is where you may want to work upon. This project calls upon two additional purposes which you have listed. One is how understanding your emotions and how you impacted or reacted on them. You touch upon the primary aspects. What you could have done is try to go to the secondary aspect as well. What you learn from the particular primary emotion and then grow from them. That would have helped us also to understand how to grow upon a particular emotion. Another purpose statement that I felt was not really up to the mark was how others' emotions also impact you. That was one of the main primary requirements in your thing. What you could have explained is how when someone's feeling sad, what you did, or when someone's feeling happy, how you contributed to it. This one thing which would have made your speech even better and take it to the next level. And that brings me to the final category, that is to challenge yourself. What I really like about how you present and speak is you're really aware of your limitations and expertise. You know your height and your voice. So you try to come up behind this and to avoid the lectern as much as possible because you do know you can reach out the other way far longer than. These are things that you really are aware of. Try to focus on them more and it will help you become a really great speaker. All in all, it was a great speech. You had the emotions, mixed bag of emotions. It was fantastic. And looking forward to hear more speeches from you. Thank you and back to you.
So, my role as an evaluator is not to evaluate the speaker, but let me say you are a very good speaker. So coming to the evaluator, Toastmasters ICN. So I would say you did a very good job as an evaluator. You stick to the rules that what you were good at, what you want to excel at, and what you want to challenge yourself with. So yeah, you did a very good job. You mean, of course, I know you got the evaluation way before and it comes through you. So you and whatever resources were given, I can see that you've gone through each and every detail of what this project is about, and you evaluated accordingly. So very good job. Second evaluator Toastmasters to evaluate Toastmasters.
On the pretext of giving a speech, you took me through a journey of my installation and outgoing settings. Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and Toastmaster Ankita in particular, I'll keep the evaluation simple into two parts: what went well and what you can improve on. What went well, I think the most striking feature for me in your speech was the structure. It was crystal clear. You established a clear stage. You said what you're going to tell us about, and from there you went step by step. There was planning, there was execution, there was D-Day, and what happened through and through. So if I had to mind map it, paint a mind map out of this, it wouldn't be a regular painting, it would be a masterpiece. Coming to the second point, they say the devil is in the details, and there were devils throughout your speech. The names, the tasks, the to-do lists, the thank you notes to each one of them, everything in place. And when it moved to giving analogies, you picked up a very mundane example of how you prepare a grocery list before going shopping. It's very easy for a layman sitting out there to relate a high-performance leadership program. So that's to bring two ends of the spectrum together. Everybody can understand and comprehend the speech. Beautifully done. The third thing, the leadership traits that you showed. There was planning of which you explained every single step, and you told us how important planning is. Part of a true leader. Be it delegating your tasks, making calculated estimates of the number of people, or assigning people with what they have to do. The next thing, the execution part of it. You thank people, you encourage them, and you make sure you acknowledge everybody's role and responsibility that they took through your leadership program or through the board project that you were assigned. A job beautifully done on that. Now, what could having done it so well, what could you have done better? Follow with members. So we know that not everybody is 100% on time or on their schedule or on performing in every project. How did you prepare for a backup? That is something that you could have told us. And as a leader, how do we prepare? If it's your office project or a project anywhere else, how do you prepare for backups? Let's say the last day your MC took an off saying he's not keeping well. What would you do? Right? So we're telling people how to prepare for backups or how you did it. There was one challenge, however, you mentioned about the award list and how those was the size and help you about. But maybe that is something you could have picked up as how you had backups. The second thing, the most important thing for me would be feedback. A project does not complete until you go back and take feedback from the stakeholders about how it went, right? So how, after this project, did you ask for feedback? Did you go back and think, how can I imbibe this in my upcoming projects? They say breakfast is the, feedback is the breakfast for champions, right? So did you have your breakfast? That's my question. Having said all this, to summarize it, I think this was a great project, very well executed, at the same time, very well articulated, with respect to all aspects of an HPL perspective. Planning, delegation, challenges, how you overcame it, execution, completion, and feedback. The last of which you slightly missed, but I'm sure you'll take this feedback and work on it. But truly, you're an asset to the club and a truly high-performing leader. Now that's all back to you.
I should learn how to evaluate this. Okay, so I mean, what I like is from both the evaluators, instead of me asking the feedback or evaluation form, they only told us from before in that. So very good job there. A huge round of applause for all these people. I can see that the ballot is up, so I'll give you some 30 seconds. So you can vote for the best speaker, best state topic speaker, and the evaluator. Okay, I'll just continue. So next was the table topic session, and the table topic master of Toastmasters will take up. So one thing I was scared for this table topic session was, so I've been observing from past so many meetings, this table topics master, they are doing a very clever job. So they give a topic, once the speaker is done talking, they start giving their perspective of this topic and they talk for the 2 minutes. They're taking some other time of the other speaker, and again they give one more topic, talk whatever he tells, not their point of view. They're just taking away time. I mean, I've been observing they've been taking away time of other, chances of other speakers, and just have some 5 speakers for table topic, and then will complain me saying, you didn't give much time. I'm like, you took so much time to give a topic. But what I really love is you stick to the rules. You just came, explain what is your table topic session is all about. You gave the topic, they spoke, we congratulated, done. That is how a table topic master is supposed to perform. But one thing I observed is, you first called out the speaker and then gave the topic. It will kill the excitement. For example, if in case I call out Sai Sneha and if I say he's the next speaker, everyone will be like, okay, anyways getting the topic, why should I bother? Why should I care whatever topic he gets? They'll not, sometimes they forget to hear what the topic is about. So if you give a topic, people will have that excitement, people will have that fear like, what if she calls me? They start preparing for that topic and then you call someone and thank God it's not. That will, keep the excitement, that will keep more attentive to your session, what I want to say. And yeah, of course, you call this persons who were in the meeting who didn't get a chance to speak. So again, a very good job done on that. We had a very interesting topics as well. He contacted me way before and asked me what is the theme of the speaker according to my team. So yeah, but still they have a mixture of all the topics. So yeah, very good job and keep taking up more roles. And can you give a review? Icing of cake, Toastmaster Lakshmi is the master ceremony. Oh, yeah, forgot it actually. I'll get back to you. So I like to call the tab G vote takers to give your reports. So I'd like to call the annual Toastmasters now.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Very good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. Let me start off with my timer's report. With the business, the meeting commenced at 6:34 p.m. The business session went on for 1 minute 50 seconds. Welcome by Sergeant at Arms went on for 2 minutes. The guest introduction went on for 2 minutes and 18 seconds. The presidential address went on for 3 minutes and 56 seconds. Introduction of Toastmaster of the evening went on for 40 seconds. Report on the previous meeting took 2 minutes 30 seconds. The master of ceremonies in total till now has taken 14 minutes. Coming to the prepared speakers, first one Toastmaster Vaishnavi, exactly 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Her evaluator Toastmaster Sai Snell has taken 3 minutes and 26 seconds. The second speaker Toastmaster Ankita has taken 12 minutes 24 seconds, and her evaluator Toastmaster Supreet has taken 3 minutes. Coming to the table topic session, it went on for about 20 minutes and had 11 speakers. The list of the individual timings is there on the board, and in the individual speakers, I would say Toastmaster Ujjwal and guest Shushwat were a bit short of 1 minute. Finally, coming to the general evaluation, till now has gone for about 12 minutes. Over to you, general evaluation.
Next, role taker, counter Toastmaster Vijay.
Thank you, General Manager. Good evening, Toastmasters. Welcome. The outcome report is like this. Santana flawless, Raghunath flawless, Lakshmi Shekhar 1 hour, Euro repeated once, Shiv Prasad flawless, Vaishnavi flawless, Sai Snehal 1 hour, Ankita 2 hours, and I had to, she repeated, Supreet 1 hour, Zulekha 1 hour, Jyoti Rao 3 hours, Shiv Prasad 1 hour, Budanka 1 hour, MU Bhatt 1 hour, Ujjwal 2 hours, Gaurav Badri till now 2 hours, and so repeated many times. And yeah is repeated. I don't know what the meaning yeah. I need to understand. Thank you, Bharti.
Thank you. The next, Potato Rameli Toastmaster Sophia.
Toastmasters and guests, I have a huge list of good usages. There was none not so good, not a single one I could write or I did not listen. You'll have to bear with me. I want to read the entire thing. I've also taken a picture for myself of these usages. So physically praise, blessings to give. Now boasts of are the witness ourselves, put it on stage, affairs with our emotion, clear my mind of new directions and new challenges. EQ makes you wiser, shoulders your responsibility, bittersweet feeling, flawless and seamless meeting, prepare for detail, sat with myself, enigmatic dignitaries, journey of self-growth, aced her role, tribal things that matter the most, outgoing address, never losing the sight or your own personal goal, enthralling experience, smooth as silk, unsung hero, hear your cue, setback is not a failure, part of my DNA, ensure it is done, worry will bury us alive, relish these memories, discounting yourself, modesty is a luxury, blow your trumpet as hard as you can, last nail to the coffin, crystal clear, devil in the detail, mark of a true leader, feedback is the breakfast for the champion. The word of the day was used by Toastmaster Lakshmi, Toastmaster Zulekha once, by both of them, Toastmaster Jyotira once, and Toastmaster Supreet once. Timer PM Shiva also used it once. I am sorry if I have missed out someone. Thank you and back to general evaluation.
Parliamentary procedure evaluation.
Green, once again, there were few entries to in middle of the meeting, but they were during the hours and that is acceptable. And there was a one mobile ring during the meeting. If it is probably by a guest, so if you could avoid it by in the next upcoming meetings, it would be really great. Apart from that, the meeting was not very smooth. Back to you.
What do I tell to the staff team members? They have been like, the saviors of meeting. Because if no one is there to take up captain, they'll always be there to back me up. Thank you so much for that. Who are taking this captain role? I've been seeing they have been taking many roles every meeting, some unique roles and trying to make this meeting interesting. So, and give them a huge amount of coming to the master's ceremony, before that, sorry. We forgot to vote 2 more in the ballots. So just give me 10 more seconds to vote for the festival papers as well. Okay, so coming to the master ceremony, Toastmaster Lakshmi. I know you have done a very good job because last meeting when as soon as got over, she came towards me and she asked me, "Can you please send me the format of the MC?" So I can see that you have been taking this Toastmasters very seriously. Like when I joined Toastmasters, I know I'm going to give an example for this. When I took up MC for the first time, I started preparing on Sunday. And I did a bad job. I did it. So I really appreciate that you started preparing well in advance. And any doubts you have, you always feel free to contact me. It's good that you have doubts because it shows that you are preparing. So what I liked about your MC session was you had a very unique taste of thought. It was I can call you had a little bit of there is a format, but you created your own format and you came up with such a unique way of doing MC. Like seriously, I'm surprised being the first time taking this role. So you opened the meeting with a nice fun. So she showed up 4 times and then I spoke 1,000 words. For a few seconds I'm like, what? Then I realized, okay, this is a fun, okay, this is a nice joke. Then you spoke about the team and what I really observed is you had eye contact. Like this is how I also used to do. Like I start from here, I used to stand in the entire room and I start from here. That is the method you carry forward. So after that, you nicely connected the team to the RC's maybe introduction of Toastmaster introduction. And again, you explain what all sessions happen in Toastmasters for the beneficiary of the guest. What I observed is of course, you had a little bit of throat pain, so I can agree to that, but you still had your energy out. So whenever people started losing interest, to suddenly add that energy to make sure people were watching it. And I have observed, like, if a person takes a master ceremonies, if a speaker or a role taker gives an introduction, they'll just read out what is given. But you add a little bit of your own flavor, you twisted the introduction a bit, added a little bit of your own flavor. It shows that you're interested in calling that person towards the acting, and that person is, energized to come over here and start talking. One thing I would say to improve is somewhere I felt when you're talking, if you forget, if you're trying to recall what you're trying to say, you start looking up. So maybe you could improve a bit on that. Apart from that, you did a very good job being the first time as a master ceremonies. I'm really surprised. So yeah, and last thing, when some session is also, you just say, okay, let's start with the next session. you added little bit more about the team and you connected to that particular session. So it really shows that you have done a very good job at prepared well. So hoping to see you take more roles in the future. Can you give a review also? I believe I covered everything. And yeah, that's all from the general evaluation side of point of view. And back to the March
for that concise and comprehensive evaluation. As we come to the end of the session, I want to just leave you with a thought about this one connection that I consider supremely important. The connection that we all have with ourselves, right? So that connection must stay open and working at all times. So check in with yourself regularly, right? And create routines that are beneficial for that connection to remain open and working, right? Exercise, meditate, sing, play an instrument, learn music, dance. Any or all of these are known to work really well. So pay attention to what you're feeling and what your triggers are also. And always stay connected with yourself. Remember the wise Greek guy we talked about earlier, right? There is something that he also said. He said, the antidote for 50 enemies is one friend. So go ahead, make a connection. While you're at it, why not make 5, right? And let's keep these connections open and alive and stay connected. Thank you, and back to you, Madam.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshmi, for that wonderful session. I think it was your maiden session as the MC, and as always, it was a great session. It was nice to have you behind the lectern. It was a good meeting with excellent speeches by both the speakers today, and an excellent table topic session as well, which was very thought-provoking. The general evaluation session was really amazing. This is the first time I am seeing Toastmaster Gaurav taking up this role. It was very comprehensive and he covered everything, going into minute details and even giving the background of that. So it was a great session, Toastmaster Gaurav. Regarding the feedback, the video explaining how to provide feedback has been posted in the MECON WhatsApp group last week by Toastmaster Sanjana. I hope you have all gone through it and will provide your feedback to the respective speakers and role takers. If the ballot results are ready, I request Toastmaster Gaurav to announce the winners of today's meeting.
You have too much votes, so it's and let me start with this role taker in CAPG, that is timer, R counter, PP evaluator, and the grammarian. It goes to timer, Toastmasters. Coming to the MC, table topic master and general evaluator, both to delegate role taker, master of table. Coming to the this table topic speaker, there is a tie between BTM Amitabh and ATM Yamita. coming to this evaluator, it goes to ever the Toastmasters history. Now coming to the best prepared speaker for today, it goes to Toastmaster. So that's all from results that we Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav. Congratulations to all the winners. I now close meeting number 1180 and request everyone to raise for the national anthem.